Hello and welcome to the series where I try to beat every single PlayStation 2 game that exists. Today, I will be playing Looney Tunes ACME Arsenal, a game released by Warner Bros. In 2007. The game features a very simple combat system that you will use to beat all 21 stages. After a quick tutorial, I get thrown straight into the action with basically no explanation as to why I'm even fighting these robots. All you get is a small cutscene that shows Bugs and Marvin getting into trouble. The first thing I notice is these two bars in the top left. The first bar is your health. The second bar is your energy, or at least that's what I think it is. Again, there was no explanation for it. Throughout the stage, you can pick up uranium and fill up the bar. Each time you fill the bar, your attacks get stronger, with a max of 3 upgrades. The next thing I notice is the money. You get coins by destroying enemies in boxes. At some points in each stage, you're able to spend these coins on uranium, weapons, or character skins. Then, I began to fight some robots. It didn't take me long to figure out the deadliest combo to take the enemies out with ease. What I did for the entirety of the game is do the basic attack until the enemy is stunned, then jump and do a slam attack. That combo caused a strong wave attack and was just super powerful. The other main element of the game is platforming. This stage has moving platforms and you need to activate buttons to lower bridges. After only 10 minutes, I beat the first stage, or the first part of the first level. I guess it depends on how you look at it, because there are several levels to choose from, and each stage is more of a continuation of the level rather than its own level. The whole system is actually a little confusing, because before I even started the game, there were some levels unlocked already, so I don't know if I actually need to play all of them or not. I still beat them all in order. Whether I had to, still remains a mystery. It also didn't help that after every stage you completed, the level select always defaulted back to the first stage. There's also no indication that you even beat the levels, so a few times I accidentally started the same one again. It's very strange if you ask me. Just as a note, for the rest of the video, when I say level, I'm referring to the collection of what I'll call stages. Anyways, I continued through until I got to the last stage of the level and came across a boss fight. To defeat the boss, you simply have to dodge its attacks and hit it when possible. The second part of the fight was even easier. You have to jump across the rocks to get a gun, then just shoot the boss until it dies. After that level, we finally get some story. Bugs says that they were able to steal time machine blueprints from Dr. Frankenbeans, and he hopes that there is still time to save their ancestors. So now, the end goal for some levels is to save one of the character's ancestors. With that, we jump straight into level 2 with Daffy and Marvin. You may be thinking, why are there 2 characters per level? Well, the reason is that you can play the game co-op, that's all. There was one time where I died and then I respawned as the other character, but that only happened once, so I think that might have been a glitch. As Daffy, I fought some robots through the snow until making it to a castle. I really enjoyed this stage, mostly because of the platform. If there is one thing that you should know about me, is that I love platformers. So any game that has even decent platforming, I love it. I also like that you have to hit switches to let you through the level. I think it adds more, rather than you just plowing through the whole game. Eventually, I make it to the end of the level and defeat a group of robots that were harassing Daffy's king ancestor. Next, we head into the Wild West. Yosemite Sam is on a minecart on a rail, and to continue through the stage, you have to activate a target to help him pass through. Each area has several robots with guns, which fits the theme. That's something that I really enjoy about this game. Yes, the main gameplay is the same, and it's a lot of repetition in terms of the enemies and the platforming, but the unique look and theme of each level is really nice. For example, the robots in the castle were knights and they had swords. In this stage, they'll have guns just like in the movies. This stage ends with a quick fight against Nasty Canasta. That's the whole level. Only one stage and no ancestor to save. This is an example of the story not being clear. After rewatching the cutscene for the stage, I still am not sure why we're in this situation. I guess it's really not a huge deal for this game, you know, because it's made for children, but I like to try to look at all aspects of the game. The next level is what I'm assuming is just a bonus level. There's no cutscene at all, and it's a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner stage. There are a couple more stages like this one, and to be honest, they're just not fun. All you do is go back and forth, dodge obstacles, and collect time so you don't run out. In this stage, there aren't even any enemies to kill. Also, the controls are weird. You move forward with triangle, jump with X, shoot with R2, and left stick to move. I had to hold the controller weird so I could actually complete this stage. If you stop moving forward, you lose all momentum when you jump. So you have to keep the acceleration button pressed the whole time, and I couldn't do that with a normal grip on the controller. Other than that, it was very easy and boring. Then, we go to Tasmania in the year 200 bajillion BC to save one of Taz's ancestors. This level has a jungle theme with caveman robots. Another thing I really enjoy about this game is that each level has unique features, whether it be the enemies, the breakables, or the platform. It makes each stage different enough that the game doesn't feel like the same thing over and over. After making my way through many cavemen and gorillas, I made it to the end of the level and saved Taz's ancestor. Deep Fried Porky starts with a cutscene where we see an evil version of Porky the Pig talking to Dr. Frankenbeans. Then we get grabbed into a portal and taken to a boss fight. This is another example of the unclear story. With no explanation, there's just an evil Porky. It's not one of his ancestors is actually Porky. I have no clue how he got like that. Did Dr. Frankenbeans kidnap him and transform him? Did he just stumble upon and accidentally drink something? Was there some sort of accident? Unless I missed something, I have no explanation. Nonetheless, I defeated evil Porky and his bull. He escaped and we moved on to the next level. We are now in Egypt on a mission to save another ancestor. As I kill more robots, I want to mention Dr. Frankenbeans' random voice lines throughout the game. Many times during any stage, a little screen popped up in the bottom right and Dr. Frankenbeans says something. It's never anything prevalent to what is happening, and there doesn't seem to be anything in particular that triggers it.
And yes, my evil plan is unfolding perfectly.
It's one thing for the character you're controlling to have voice lines, but when someone that I haven't even seen is talking for no reason, it's a little annoying. It's really not a big deal, just a minor annoyance. I am now inside of a pyramid, and this is probably my favorite stage. The main reason why is the platform. I am just a platforming fiend, and this stage plays right into my platforming addiction. Between all the spiky stuff and moving platforms, it makes for a very fun stage. Nothing too challenging, but still fun. Once I got past all the spikes, I saved Bugs' pharaoh ancestor. The next level starts with a stage similar to the Wile E. Coyote stage. This one is a little different because there are enemies to shoot and uranium to collect. With targets to shoot, it makes it a little more fun, but not enough to change my mind about it being boring. Then is what I think to be the hardest overall stage. It wasn't too difficult for me, but I could definitely see somebody having a tough time here. There are many different moving parts throughout the stage. There's swinging glass, falling platforms, moving platforms, and fans that blow you around. The fans are what I got briefly stuck on. They are pretty strong, and there was a jump that I failed a few times. Another thing I like about this level are the alien enemies. They are no more or less deadly than the robots, but it's just fun and it fits well with the theme of the level. I managed to get to the end of the stage and save Marvin's tourist ancestor. I'm not too sure what his outfit is. Maybe a safari tour guide? Whatever he is, I saved him. The final stage of the level is another vehicle one. It's the same thing as the first stage, which is actually a bummer because I really enjoyed the normal stage and I would have liked at least one more like it instead of two of these. Unfortunately, the next level also starts with another vehicle stage. Thankfully, it's the last one of the game. It was, however, my favorite one of them. I like the war setting and the motorcycle with both characters in it. Then we get back to a normal stage where we start killing and blowing things up. Something that I find funny is that as I rewatched the game, I realized that I really enjoyed it. As I was playing, I remember having negative thoughts because of the confusing story and the lack of a reason for going through each level. But now, I think that the gameplay really makes up for it. Anyways, I again get to the end of the level and save another ancestor. Then, we finally get an update on evil Porky. He's being held captive and Dr. Frankenbeans says that he has failed in taking down the Looney Tunes. Gossamer gives him something to revert him back to normal and Porky gets lowered into a portal. Then, Gossamer jumps in to save him. Now, I don't know much about Looney Tunes, so I don't know why Gossamer just immediately decides he doesn't want to work for Dr. Frankenbeans anymore. I don't know if Gossamer is a bad guy or not. I don't know if he always works with Dr. Frankenbeans. I don't know anything. I'm just confused. This is just another time where the story is lacking. Maybe I just expected too much from it. Anyways, back to the game. Gossamer is by far my favorite character to play as. It's just fun to be a big guy smashing stuff. Who wouldn't love that? There isn't much more to this level. I beat it and got to the final level. The first stage isn't too exciting. It's just basic platforming and fighting a bunch of robots. The final stage is a fight against Dr. Frankenbeans and his giant robot. This fight was quite lackluster. A robot only has a few attacks and they're easy to dodge. It didn't take me long to figure out how to easily win the fight. You can only damage the robot's head. So I jumped and hit its head to knock it over so I could easily hit its head even more. I wish there was more to it, but that's the end of the fight and the game. The Looney Tunes destroyed the time machine to prevent any future problems, and that's that. I finished the game in about 3.5 hours. In case you didn't hear me, I'll say it again. I love platformers, so I really enjoyed this game. It's just a bunch of simple yet fun fighting and platforming. There really isn't much more to say. I give the gameplay a 9 out of 10. The story, on the other hand, I did not like. It wasn't clear on anything, really. It started with basically no explanation at all, and any explanation given throughout barely added anything. For me, the story was a letdown, and I feel like it could have been much better. 2 out of 10. Even with the poor story, I would still recommend this game. If you were looking for a quick, fun, and easy game to pass the time, this would be a good one to check out. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your mom you love her, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.